Good morning. Today we are going to be setting up our effects systems. So let's see. Well, we're going to need to do a few things. So what exactly? I need to get started. Sometimes that can take a little while. But basically what we need to figure out is exactly how we're going to be making our effect systems. And in order to do that, well, one of the easiest things to do is to look at what we did before. So I'm going to pull up some of my previous work. Yeah. It's all sorts of screwed up. I can't even open it. Oh. It's just how it works sometimes. Well then I'll just open up the code directly. Fine. I see how it is. And we're basically just we're going to figure out kind of what we need to make real quick, and then we're going to actually make it. So I'm looking at what I was doing in Unity before, and what I had before looks like we had effects, and those effects could do things on update, and they had a life, and we had a few things like some basic, there was like sorting orders and all sorts of stuff where you draw in front or behind the thing that you're looking at, and we could like lock an effect to an entity, and then like disable and enable an effect. So an effect to me is any sort of visual or audio, or it's something that you can kind of fire and turn on or off and it's an object that usually follows other objects or just spawns and then dies, like an explosion or something like that is an effect that you play that's going to just, cause an explosion, play all the things, make all the smoke and do all sorts of crazy stuff, but then it's kind of just gone. So it's usually something that does something like that. There are also effects that kind of happen every frame, so you might have an effect that is emitting other things, like just a fire, and it emits little bits of flame that fly off of it or whatever. And there are other effects that follow entities, such as a after image trail on an object or something like that. There's plenty of effects. So looking at what we've also got here, we have like scripted effects, is what I had before. And we had kind of these, yeah, on active, on start, on update, on destroy, and all these things like that. We had particle effects. We also had animated effects. And the idea with effects is usually they're not full game objects with all the bells and whistles and all the crazy stuff. Usually they have some limits as to what they can do. And they're supposed to be just a lot simpler and easy to play. And then you kind of compose effects together to create bigger ones. Like an explosion is usually a couple effects laid on top of each other, like your smoke, your fire, your stuff blowing up. So it looks like and I'm just opening stuff up right now. I'm kind of just waking up. So like we've got this character diagram with all these things that are on a character. Seems like we'll be needing to do a very similar thing for effects. Wow. Wow, Vizio is freaking the hell out. Wow. Alright, well, then we're just gonna close everything. So what is an effect gonna have on it? Well, we're gonna want some events. We're gonna want the update, the initialize, on create, on destroy. So these should be off in like blueprint land. So this should be like blueprint implements logic, which has these sorts of things that happen on it. And we should have an effect. So we'll have like a Dashkin effect component. We're going to have various rendering components. These could be things like, this could be your flipbook, this could be particle system. We're going to need a few, there's going to be a few classes of effects. There's going to be effects that are like, it's going to be persistent effects. It's going to be like one-off effects. And persistent effects, those would be things like a fireplace. Let's see, like an after image. I guess that's another thing we need. We need enable and disable for an effect. So like if we have an after image or something, we should be able to turn it on and off. So we have one-off effects, and that might be like an explosion. So let's kind of keep track. What are these rendering things? We're gonna have particle systems. We're gonna have flipbooks and things like that. We're gonna need things that make it easy to like play an animation to completion. So we're gonna need effect that plays a flipbook animation once. Effect that lasts for a certain amount of time and then like disappears. And this is me just kind of organizing my thoughts. I usually kind of just start drawing things out. And the Dashkin effect opponent's going to update this stuff. The effects probably need to update post-update. So, like, I would imagine an effect needs to update after everything in the world is moved. And the reason for that would be we want to spawn effects on things where they are after they've moved. And if it's like a visual effect, such as an after image, it needs to update after the thing is moved. So we need to make sure this is a post update tick. Whoa, come on, keyboard. That's the idea, at least. So let's see. Stuff like this should work pretty well. Should we have any limits, or should we have anything else, or should we just have a whole bunch of static methods that spawn these? Alright, so we'll also need to take into account spawning effects. And I think that's going to be... we're just going to have like static creation methods. So now the question is there an easy way to script out effects, such as I want to create an effect, and I want to create an effect by name or something like that? Like I want to make the explosion effect. How do we reference effects that we want to make? Do we have to call the function directly? I mean, if we do that, then it's really hard for somebody like Adam to come through and, you know, a non-engineer to come through and actually add a new effect. We basically need a good way for them to actually do that. Like, I need to be able to create effect, and then I need to be able to play it. And I guess you could create a blueprint and then get a reference to the blueprint, and then just like call, hey, create an effect. Here's the, here's the asset, the Dashkin effect asset to clone to make this thing, which could work. So we have like a static creation method, and we basically clone effect U assets. So we've got these like effect U asset. It's gonna go in and then in the game, we just pop out one of these guys. So it'll look kind of like that. Okay, makes sense. And we can spawn, all these components can be things that are, you know, inside of our blueprint when we make it, so it's not too crazy to actually do that. Some other things to take into account would be rendering order. Well, I mean, we're not in Unity where we didn't really have the rendering sort order stuff set up as much as we wanted. We're in Unreal where we're using the x-axis, so we can rely on the x-axis at least to sort things. We're on an issue. We're kind of doing some cave drawings right now to try to figure out how we should build our effect system. And I'm just kind of trying to organize my thoughts and think about things such as, well, how do we make effects? How do we play effects? How do we script them out? Because there are effects like explosions, there's effects like a waterfall in the background, but that's more non-interactable. Like some of these will be interactable effects. Some other ones would be like an after image effect on some character, or, you know, like footsteps when you got like dust that comes up, or just anything like that. And I want to make them lighter weight than the entities that we have in the game. The entities in the game are like full characters with all sorts of craziness, and we really don't need that. Not for these guys, but we do need a couple things. We need the animation component. I might have to break some stuff up if I'm going to be using that animation component. It should work. How do we get references to things in blueprints? I guess it's like create effect, and then maybe there's a drop down of assets that you can use. Is that true? Can I actually do that? Maybe we should have effects that are enums in code? I don't know, we'll have to find out. So basically, why don't we just go ahead and get started. We're gonna need to make our actual effects then. So we're gonna want to go in and create a new folder here called effects. So this will probably be just a C++ heavy stream for while we all get this set up. This probably won't be the most entertaining thing if people are looking for cute little fat sacks running around. But we gotta do work. We gotta do work first before we can get things running how we all want them all the time. So there's going to be a Dashkin affect data. That's going to be a thing. And why don't we just get some real basic stuff. Post that property, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need this either. Display thumbnail. Alright. Use the Dashkin effect data. So we're going to make a Dashkin effect data object, and we are also going to create a Dashkin effect actor. And then we're going to have to make a Dashkin effect actor factory, so we can actually make these things in the editor. And let's not forget to add ourselves to our paths. Unreal's kind of annoying sometimes with these headers. I haven't found a better way to do this, but basically I have to add all these new folders manually here. And I could set up some system to generate it, but it hasn't really been that big of a deal. Then we need to grab the Dashkin entity actor, copy pasta that thing, and we should be able to Dashkin effect actor. And I think I'm starting to get the hang of some of this Unreal stuff. Though as soon as I say that, I'm gonna make all sorts of awful mistakes and everything will be terrible. That's okay. So let's get all of our boilerplate running here properly. So we need our Dashkin entity actor. We're gonna do set Dashkin effect. New Dashkin effect star effect. Responses for that, no. Initialization, post setup, no. We do need a Dashkin effect. Get effect. We don't need the rest of these things. Let's see, entity type, no. Those. We do need a tick method. We do need an end play and a begin play. Post update tick. I'll see exactly if I do need that or not. We need the effect data. And yeah, okay, we don't need the post update tick. Pretty sure we don't need the post update tick. We just need the normal update tick. We're gonna have our effects update after everything else. So, yeah. An instance of an effect. Post-init properties. I don't know if we need post-init properties. We do need. I think end play actually takes a reason. So So let me take a look at that real quick. Where were we actually looking at this earlier? I think it was the logic state.h. Do we have end play? Maybe it's in logic object. No. It's totally somewhere here. It's here somewhere. Destroyer's got to be called by something. Let's see what a actor actually has in the documentation. In play, const in play reason. So we got that, we got the effect, all these things, category effect. Alright, so we just need to start filling out our Dashkin effect actor. Alright, this is starting to look good. Alright, so we need to set ourselves to tg underscore like post something. Yeah, post update work. Root component. Well, we need to actually fill this one out. Maybe we'll be setting that to our effect component itself when we get that sorted out. So set Dashkin effect. Post init properties. Yeah, it looks like we don't need that because we're not doing a post update tick. The Dashkin effects actually can update twice in a frame. They can update in 2 different tick loops. And it looks like everything is pretty good. So we just need to make sure we got all these methods here. So we need to include Dashkin effect, actor.h, and we should also include Dashkin effect.h. So that should get those sorted. Let's see, class, const, class, a actor. Okay, that's component wrapper class. It's probably not what we want. Let me see what that actually means real quick. I have absolutely no idea. We're just gonna leave it there. Googling it didn't give much of anything. It was like, did you mean something else? Be like, no. Never mind then. Alright, so we got our data. Player effect actor. So what we're gonna want is we want to actually go add our factory here. So yeah, one of the annoying things with Unreal is in order to be able to make an asset in the editor nicely, you actually have to go do a bunch of boilerplate crap to get it to, you have to go make an object factory in C++ land in order to be able to make like a new asset type and all these things. It can be real annoying. So let's just get started making all that actually work. Like to make our camera control data and our movement data and like all those things in Unreal, we had to actually, yeah. So u Dashkin effect data factory. That's the effect data factory. Do we need to make the actor factory? Player proxy, entity proxy? I don't think so. We'll see. Alright, so we got the effect data factory. So let's go do it. So, Dashkin effect factory, create the new Dashkin effect. Let's see, camera data. So u Dashkin effect data factory, that is not true, we need the effect. U Dashkin effect data. Is the actual object type. In the asset type actions, I think we need to do the same thing. We basically need to tell the asset type stuff that what they can actually do. So f Dashkin effect data type actions, and it's pretty brain dead for some of this. You just gotta make sure you spell everything right. Which is sometimes more of a pain in the ass. Our supported class, this is going to be u Dashkin effect data, and then this is going to be effect data. Alright, so we got that, and then we have to actually add our, pretty sure we have to add our little bits to our editor startup. Yeah, we have to actually go in here and register an asset type action with our bit type properly, and that way it'll actually show up inside of the yeah, we didn't set all the names. Sorry. Let's go make sure we didn't copy paste that one all out. Yeah, we totally copied it wrong. So we added to our module extensions, and okay, good. So we should be able to make our asset now. Do we need to make the actor factory? I think we absolutely do. So yeah, entity group proxy, actor factory, and all that. So we need to add this view Dashkin effect actor factory. So in our actor factories, we're going to need to include our Dashkin effect data.h and our Dashkin effect actor.h here. This will be for our effect. Now, do we need proxies for these objects? What I was basically doing with proxies for objects was I would, instead of putting the actual object into the game, you'd put a proxy into the game for the actual object, and then that object would be created when it was initialized. So you could kind of have an idea of what you wanted to put in there, but you wouldn't actually have the actual thing. I don't think we need that. Alright, so this is going to be Dashkin effect actor factory. Add Dashkin effect called after spawning an actor. Hitting the page up key on accident. Alright, so post spawn actor. This should be a U Dashkin effect data. The asset that we make the actor from should be the Dashkin effect data itself. Yeah, I think that should work. And this is going to be the effect data. And this is going to be a Dashkin entity Dashkin effect actor, and we're going to call set Dashkin effect with our effect data. And same thing here. We need the effect data off of this guy. And this should be Dashkin effect data. This should be Dashkin effect actor. And these get called in different parts of the life cycle. Alright, so can create actor from specific asset. We want to make sure that it is u-can effect data static class. It's a child of it. Can create actor from the entity no effect. This effect data is specified. Alright, so we have our actor factory, and I don't think we have to declare it. I think if the actor factory exists, then it'll work. But I have to double check all that sort of stuff. So is camera control factory used anywhere? The editor stuff is a real pain in the butt to get set up properly because there's not super great documentation, and tutorials on it are a little bit long-winded. Like, they'll take 30 minutes to get to what you actually need. And it looks like, yeah, we don't need to do too much for that. And in order for your assets to like actually show up in the editor, you have to do everything right. Like, everything has to be correct. Otherwise, it just doesn't show up. I'm like, ah, crap. So it can be pretty frustrating getting it all set up. So we should be able to right-click in the editor, create a Dashkin effect. We should be able to create a blueprint off of an effect. It should have a string name on it, and we should be able to put those in the level and should spawn actors that update. So we'll take a look and see if that's actually what's happening or not. So Dashkin affect actor, new Dashkin affect data is what it should be called. And if anybody's got any questions about C++ or Unreal or Unity or just anything, or hell, any other programming language that I might know, go for it. I'm all for talking about whatever people are thinking about. Especially when we're just dealing with boilerplate sort of stuff. It's kind of brain dead. It's like copy paste everything and then the compiler will fix all of our problems when we screw up the spelling. Let's see, it's almost the end of our milestone. Actually, we have these milestones that we schedule out, and this milestone's kind of our prototype. We're supposed to basically have something that resembles a game, the story sorted out, all the things like that, and we're pretty much there. Like, we can move and jump and run, and it looks like it's getting to something where you can get an idea of what we're building. We got a lot of the technology proven out. Like, things are working. Like, the physics is there, the animation stuff's there. We've got our assets getting created in Harmony, exported properly with rigging. We figured out how to rig up our obstacles, how to build our maps. Of course, everything can be improved, but you know, it's starting to exist. It's starting to be a real thing. What are you angry about? You're angry about... Yeah, it's effect actor, not entity actor. No such file or directory inside of Dashkin effect data.h. Dashkin effect data.h. It's just Dashkin effect.h. Ooh, I don't like that. I should change that, shouldn't I? While I still can. Alright, cool. Because it's not like Dashkin effect.h, it's the actual data structures, so we want to be a little bit more explicit for that. And I don't think I saw Adam streaming yesterday. Thought he probably would. Maybe he'll be doing that tomorrow. Well, I guess he did stream last night. I didn't see an archive for it. I certainly was asleep. I should probably make all these colors unique for all these different assets just to make them pop out a little bit better in the editor. Right now, what is this color? That's R, G, and B. This is like this is green. Yeah, the time zone difference can be pretty rough. And he's been super busy. Like, he's been working on that Bob's Burger stuff pretty much constantly. It's been like, man, what slave drivers? And how we've got our project structured is we have our editor extensions and our runtime extensions to the actual editor, which are both plugins. And then we have our actual game. And our actual game has almost no code in it. Everything's inside of the plugins. Alright, so get effect is not found by the linker. It's complaining about get effect being non-existent. It's probably because we didn't implement it. And the reason we structured it like that, where we have an editor plugin and a runtime plugin, is because all of our code goes into the runtime plugin, which has all the actual data structures and all the logic, all that stuff. And then that can be referenced by the editor plugin. And it can also be referenced by the game, and the game doesn't reference the editor plugin. So they can both reference the same data, which has all the stuff in it, so that we can actually run the game, and the editor actually knows all the objects. And that's probably not something, I don't know. That's not something we did before on some Unreal stuff. Maybe I should be making a plugin or some editor extension which derives off of the game or something, but whatever. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So if it works, it works. I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm not going to lose any sleep over, well, you made a plugin when you didn't have to. You're like, well, it's already done, so we're using plugins. Which is kind of funny. You could add the Dashkin game as a plugin in the editor now. So you could just drop it into your Unreal project and you could have your own game already running there. Just be like, oh well, I'll just pull stuff in from Dashkin. So, do we have a junk drawer folder? I mean, we have a test content folder. So let's see, if we go to Dashkin, we should see effect data. Alright. Test effect data. So we have an effect name, test effect. And let's see if we can create a blueprint. Can we make it off of the effect? Okay, so we can make a Dashkin effect actor blueprint. Alright, why don't we do it like test effect actor blueprint. And let's see exactly what I've got here with this thing. Like, if I look at the class default, it's got the actor tick and like some stuff in it, but I'm not seeing what I want. Like, what I want is got not just the actor tick in it, but alright, not especially impressed with that. I want the actor needs something. What's the actor need? I guess I need to make this U property here, this M effect. I need to just call it effect, and this needs to be blueprint read write or something like that. It needs to be protected. So why don't we do that? And inside of like our begin play, we'll just do things. So maybe this set Dashkin effect is just not really something we care too much about. So, okay. We need to make this something we can edit. Let's go to our data. I'm like, where the hell is it? It's slower. My eyes aren't looking properly at it. Alright. So now inside of our blueprint we should see the effect and we should be able to assign it. Is that how we want everything to run? I mean, maybe. We could kind of have it run both ways. What day is it anyway? It's Friday? Alright. Just content. Let's take a look at it. Looks like we do have the effect and we can assign the effect to it. Alright. And we can do all sorts of stuff inside of here. Yes, let's check out our levels. So let's see, if I drag this effect data onto here, this test effect data doesn't even have a location on it. What is it? It's a Dashkin effect actor. So it did make the correct actor. Let's say I drag this blueprint here. It does get drug on here. Alright. Let's see if I edit this blueprint to have something on it. Let's say we add a fat sack as an effect, like a fat sack running thing. If I just like throw a flipbook in here, then what the hell happened? Template mismatch. Okay, so what? It just gets angry at me, but it doesn't actually do anything. All right, well, what was the output log? Root component cannot be attached to other components other than the same actor. I think it just got angry where I drugged the thing. That's about it. So let's see, if I drag this on here now, then it's got an effect on it. Does it play and all that? Yeah, it plays and I can collide with it and all that sort of fun stuff. So that's how easy it is to actually make one of these guys. And you can look at it in the viewport and move stuff around. Oh, what? I can't just like do everything I want. Alright, so we can make effects this way, and we can also actually make logic for it, which is pretty cool. I'd like to make some overrides for it. And I'd also like to fix a few things. I want to make it so when you drag that thing on there that it's rotated nicely. So see which actor factory actually has this stuff. It's like the... is it Paper Sprite actor factory? That CPP? Yeah, it's just post-spawn actor. What that'll do is that'll just rotate our actor when we spawn it in from blueprints. I mean, from the editor. When we drag it in, it'll be rotated nicely for us. Because our world is 90 degrees from kind of where it should be or whatever. Well, it just kind of is. So we're trying to make things easy to work with.